What is up everyone, harrow276 here, and welcome to today's video and welcome back to my channel. I'm going to be trying out a new format with you guys. I'm going to do a live cam and react to my videos this way as an attempt to kind of get viewer engagement back. Some people like to see the face. I took a poll a while ago that said that they like to see my face reacting to these battles, so yeah, it's what we're going to be doing. And the team we've got for you is triple anti-AZUMARILL in the Scroll Cup Great League Edition, with Gallade, with Psycho Cut to spam out Leaf Blades, and we also have Tentacruel and Qwilfish. So very spicy and interesting team that we have here. Able to go 4-1 with this team in a set, and you'll see that set in these videos. I've had mixed results with the team overall. The big issue has been Jellicent in this cup, though I haven't seen it as much. Jellicent has been somewhat limited because of the dark types in this meta, so I haven't seen a whole lot of it. That being said, for that reason, because Jellicent is a core breaker for this team, I would not recommend it. But if you're still looking to, try it out, want to try out the team, get a feel for it, be my guest. I'm not going to stop you. That being said, we got 8 battles for you today, 4-in-1 set, 3 bonus battles. Let's jump right into it. All right, and we got the first battle here leading into a Toxapex. This is all right. It's not great, however, because these poison jabs really start to eat away at Gallade's fragile HP count. So we're going to be able to throw 5 and then go for the Leaf Blade. That's intentional, right? I want residual energy on the Gallade because Gallade and Qwilfish both operate very similarly, in which they are Pokemon that are dependent on their energy. I send a Tentacruel to body the energy from the Toxapex, and in comes Gastrodon. This is not so great, because Gastrodon's going to be able to farm all the way down here and absorb the Scald quite well, and they're not in range either where I can just send in Qwilfish and get rid of it. And I wouldn't do that anyways, given how much energy they have. And this also makes it interesting for Gallade, where I'm basically forced to call a bait here, because I don't want to give up shields right away, but I end up basically sacrificing the whole Gallade because I failed to call the bluff correctly. They ended up going for a Water Pulse, which is interesting because you typically see Earth Power on Gallades in this cup. So very interesting choice of moveset here from the opponent. I'm just going to take my loss here and move on to the next one. My rust from not playing a whole lot of battles last season really showed in that video. So I assure you though, that's the only loss today. All the rest of these are wins, and you'll see that in a second here. Moving into the next battle, we've got a mirror lead. Most Gallades in this format run Charm, which is why I pivoted out into the Tentacruel, and we're actually able to bait out a Mudslap Barbaracle. Very interesting and spicy pick here in this cup. We're going to be able to connect here with the Scald, and the Poison Jabs are actually doing enough despite being resisted to the point where we could force their hand here with the energy. They're forced to go for a Cross Chop, and I'm able to get to another Scald because the Mud Slaps are non-stab, and this will either force Shield or Switch, and end up getting Switch, which is very nice here. I love having alignment. This is a very alignment-dependent team. So as you're going to see, we're sort of in the driver's seat of this match. Now, Gallade does win CMP over Qwilfish. Both Pokemon have very high attack, but Qwilfish just has a little bit less attack. I'm going to undercharge here this Aqua Tail, and hope for a Poison Sting farm down, but my opponent switches out into Ludicolo, and those Razor Leaves do so much damage, but I'm able to force a ton of energy and bank it onto the Qwilfish, which is very nice. And now here I could just send in Gallade and get shields down with the Leaf Blade pressure. So Leaf Blade doing neutral, Aqua Tail would have been double resisted, so I don't think I would have gotten shields from the Ludicolo because I think they would have called my bluff. I would rather absolutely get shields here with these Leaf Blades. So Gallade's very low. We get 1 turn bring in. We actually benefit here. I should not have gotten this Leaf Blade off, but it doesn't change the outcome of the game because I had 2 Aqua Tails banked anyways. It just allows me to go for the Sludge Wave BM here. This is going to absolutely one-shot the poor Gallade right there, and we take the win. All right, here we go. Game number 3. We've got Gallade leading into Whiscash. This is an excellent lead for us. We want to see the Whiscash here. That's the purpose of Gallade, is to get rid of Mud Boys here with Leaf Blade spam. Now, Leaf Blade going to be hitting Whiscash for double super effective damage, and we outpace too. So this is a dominant matchup for Gallade in even shield situations. And the fact that Whiscash is staying in here kind of tips my hat a little bit, to the point where they might be double weak. So what I'm going to end up doing here is I'm going to shield the Gallade if they shield the Whiscash, right? This is really forcing the opponent's hand. And I have another Leaf Blade at this point, so I have no reason to let this move go through. I overfarm by 1 to make sure that they don't catch, and I throw the Leaf Blade. This is going to remove Whiscash from the field of play. Down goes the Whiscash. They send in AZUMARILL. I'm going to rebank a Leaf Blade for later. I send in Tentacruel, and it's Gastrodon in the back, and I'm really glad here that I banked the Leaf Blade because this ensures that I can get rid of the Gastrodon from the field of play at any time. So Scald is going to connect. It's going to do some nice damage here. Now, I wasn't sure if I'd get off the Scald, so I ended up going for the Spray. Spray here, not going to KO, obviously. I would have gotten the Scald off, so a little bit of a misplay. And my misplay comes back to haunt me because when I bring in the Gallade, I get 1 turn bring in. So this move that they shouldn't have got off is going to KO, and I take 2 Mudslaps worth of damage onto the Qwilfish that I otherwise should not have taken. That being said, this endgame should still be fine as long as Sludge Wave one-shots an AZUMARILL, which it's an AZUMARILL. I know it's bulky, but it's Qwilfish, and Qwilfish hits very hard, and Sludge Wave is a very high damage move. I'm able to withstand the Ice Beam, making it to the Sludge Wave, and this will, of course, one-shot the AZUMARILL from the field of play, and we're able to take the win. Alright, hopping into the next one here, we've got Gallade into Drapion. Interesting lead for us here. Drapion can do some damage to the entire team, but my best matchup is Gallade because close combat hits like a truck. So I'm actually going to shield the Crunch here as it would basically KO from this range. I have back-to-back Leaf Blades, so I'm going to bluff like I'm going for the close combat. I'm actually going to go here for the Leaf Blade bait, and it works. I get the shield, and now I can send a Tentacruel, which can body a move here, and then they send in Mandibuzz. Now, Mandibuzz, very thick and bulky Pokemon. I should always go for Acid Spray first. I shouldn't be going for Scald, because a Scald plus an Acid Spray should just about KO, depending on the IVs. 1 more Poison Jab afterwards should do the trick. So here I make the misplay of going for Acid Spray, Scald and then Acid Spray, which you're going to see is actually going to impact this mid game a little bit because I'm not going to be able to get the farm down and I lose alignment. So that's not great on my end, but with lowered defense, I can send in Gallade and get a nasty Psycho Cut farm down. So the misplay actually works in my favor because I have 2 close combats. This is going to do so much damage on the Gallade, and now I send in the Qwilfish. I'm hoping I caught an Aqua Tail, but I definitely did not. They went straight for Crunch, and then they send in Feraligatr. Now Feraligatr, perhaps unfamiliar with Qwilfish's timing, plays to the CMP tie that Qwilfish ends up winning, and they let the Sludge Wave go through, nearly getting rid of all of Feraligatr's HP. So the Hydro Cannon is going to basically KO me. I could send in Gallade, but realistically I could just farm down everything, so that was a 1 game on my part. And then here, this should be the final game of the set. We've got Gallade into Lucario. Alright, so not bad because close combat with shields down can absolutely one-shot. But I send in Tentacruel because they do run Bullet Punch. And this time they send in Mandibuzz. And this time I make the correct play. I go for the Acid Spray first. And this is going to make it so that way Scald is going to do a lot of damage after these Poison Jabs. So, opponent's going to go for the Aerial Ace. That's totally fine. I can withstand that damage. I overfarm. I go for the Scald. And Scald at this point should come very close to KOing. Scald puts it into 1 Poison Jab range, and I get the farm down, which is very good for me. I retain alignment. Lucario can't farm down. They're forced to expend their energy. And this is important because watch the move they throw. It's close combat. That lowers their defense. I can send in the Qwilfish, go for the Aqua Tail. Lucario's squishy anyways, but an Aqua Tail with -2 defense on a Lucario is KOing. And then they have Toxapex in the back. My opponent's just going to surrender, and that's game, set, and match. There's nothing that they can do once the Qwilfish had that much play in the back. And so, yeah, that ends the 4-in-1 set. There are still a few more bonus battles along the way, so stay tuned for those. Alright, so we got the first of 3 bonus battles. We've got Gallade, we've got AZUMARILL. This is the absolute dream lead, and in this case, I don't actually stay in. What I do is I swap out into my water poison types, and the reason why I do this is so that way I can bait out the potential Gastrodon, or whatever else is in the back that might do very well up against the water poison, and in this case, I bait out a Gastrodon. This is the best case scenario. So, I go for the spray, the opponent calls it successfully, but with their lower defense, they might not be expecting a Scald. Scald removes the Gastrodon from the field of play. This is perfect. Morpeko's going to come in now, and this is a little bit dangerous because they're going to be able to farm me down and get a lot of energy in the process. So I'm going to go for the Scald here. Scald should be able to threaten the no shield, but they end up shielding, and this is really bad. So Gallade's going to come in here. Gallade not going to withstand an aura wheel. I just decided to sacrifice it because I know what's in back. I know it's AZUMARILL, and I know Qwilfish can handle it. So what I'm going to need to do in order to win this game is I'm going to need very precise energy management. I know that at full energy, a Sludge Wave and an Aqua Tail KOs. So what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to leave this matchup. I'm going to have to find a way to leave this matchup with both the Sludge Wave and the Aqua Tail. So from here, my opponent is going to be able to throw their energy. They're going to be able to force my shield, but it shouldn't matter as long as I leave with enough energy. So I'm going to overfarm like crazy. Here I'm at 100. I throw the Sludge Wave. Sludge Wave should be KOing AZUMARILL from this health range. And then it's the Aqua Tail. Morpeko does not have a charge move. I get off the Aqua Tail, and that's going to be a win. Alright, second of 3 bonus battles incoming. It's Gallade, it's AZUMARILL again. You know the plan, we're going to be switching into the Tentacruel. Tentacruel does very well in this matchup, and they send in Mantine. The reason I'm going for spray here is obvious. It's to lower the defense, but in this matchup, I have nothing to lose if I just go straight spray, right? Their damage, Mantine's a very bulky Pokemon, but they don't do a lot of charge move damage in particular. So with these sprays, I've already got it down to about the red health. It's in the yellow still. This next poison jab should put it in the red. And I'm going to be able to get the full farm down because this next charge move should not KO. Whatever it is, Aerial Ace, I'm going to be able to withstand that damage. And I straight up just win alignment, straight spray. Now they send in Umbreon, and I end up deciding to go for the spray again. This is again because Umbreon is really bulky. So I'm able to actually get off a second spray, and that's really helpful in my case because I can either force a shield if they lost their count or just lower their defense even more at the very worst case. They switch out, they send in AZUMARILL, and that's just going to be a loss for them. They surrender the match, and we take the win. Alright, final battle for today is Gallade into Lantern. Another great lead, similar to a lot of the other water types like Whiscash we saw earlier. This is a Pokemon we really want to see because it can counter the water poisons in the back, Lantern that is, but it takes super effective from Leaf Blade here, and we're able to force an early shield, which is very nice. The opponent is going to be going for a Surf. I'm going to shield it, of course. As with the Whiscash, I want to play even shield scenarios, so I'm going to be able to go here for another Leaf Blade. Leaf Blade, that hurts. That does a lot of damage. I've got back-to-back, and I even win charge attack priority as well. So this Leaf Blade straight up KOs. They let it go through, and they're just going to give me Switch. So at this point, we're going to see what comes in the field of play. It's a Dewgong. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to send in Tentacruel. Tentacruel can body a Drill Run pretty well, actually. It's super effective. It's going to hurt, but it can body it well. And I have stored energy on the Gallade for later. And they send in Annihilate in the back. I'm going to go straight spray here. Spray is going to lower their defense. I'm going to build up and threaten a Scald to force their hand here on the energy. So at this point, we have lowered their defense. That means it's Qwilfish time. Qwilfish can come in here, reach the Aqua Tail before they get to another Rage Fist, and this should threaten a knockout potentially. They shield it up, and from this range, Aqua Tail is definitely KOing. So I have a choice to make. I decide to shield up the Rage Fist, and Rage Fist, gonna get the attack boost. I farm up to the absolute maximum that I can, and I get off the Aqua Tail. Aqua Tail's gonna KO, and now it's just the Dewgong. But Dewgong is bulky, right? It can't withstand a close combat. Yeah, it gets one shot. See you later, Dugong. So yeah, those were the battles today. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys enjoyed the return to the channel. Sorry I've been gone for so long. Like I said in my post announcement, you can view it in the link in my channel. Just, had a lot going on, but good to be back. Hopefully I can shell out some more content over the next few days or so. We'll see what it brings. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. See you in the next one.